Ladies and gentlemen, Space God Side 1, this information going to the European government, Mr. Manuel Marco, and Russia government to know that in Canada, they did have many faces behind my information, behind my case in Canada. From BC Vancouver, from day I came, the casting behind my case, major crime. According to information God want this information be sent to the European government, United States to raising by Russia and before England be hit, because England got fun to attack, crushed and holding the system of England for crime of the Canada and BC Vancouver. I bring it to you evidence here what Canada did. From day I came to the BC Vancouver, so far 3 flat hits, maybe more even. And before happening, I told them it's going to flat coming to hit in your city, and flat hit their city. From Abbotsford to the few times to few parts, and Montreal, Quebec happening after that. So, ladies and gentlemen, from day I came to the BC Vancouver, this city basically did nothing to my case for my case beside crime. And I understand behind my immigration document, BC government did crime by India culture, insecurity border, and Iranian terrorist laundering money in Canada, in the BC Vancouver. I bring to you evidence because NATO is going to be attacked according to information I have here. If if NATO not take action against the Canada, NATO be hit.
Not just in Vancouver, but across the province.
Please do not hoard items. What you need, you
deploy the Canadian Air Force to help with rescue and relief operations. Planes and choppers are flying to British Columbia to support supply lines.
This is one of the flats is happening to BC Vancouver for the crime of the BC Vancouver city behind my case, what they did. And this is not only one, Abbotsford flats, and one more hit already BC Vancouver. I will to send into this information go to European government and many part to know that from day I came to the BC Vancouver, I don't have even health cards. If I go to I don't have health card to go to doctor. I don't have picture ID. And BC government, especially their RCMP, know all this information. They casting behind my case this crime from RCMP and their Canadian Security Service, which is I bring it to flat. But God want BC Vancouver government declare emergency from November before happening, because Space God want to bring national emergency to BC Vancouver government, to bring BC government on the national emergency biggest evacuation to investigation to BC Vancouver government about my case, what they did in Canada. They going hit into Montreal, Ottawa. According to information I have, God want to destroy their government city in Ottawa by tsunami hitting to the Ottawa 7.7 to 8.7 finally happening in Ottawa from November to God bring their government under my investigation. This is one of the flat hit again. This is Montreal, Quebec. Already has been hit, gentlemen, by my investigation to Canada. And this is the most important part. God want you know that European NATO, Canada is going to undeclare emergency very soon, because Canada did serious crime by terrorists in their country. You can call Iranian terrorists, which is bringing money to Canada. They control government of Canada from Toronto that man Kaveri, he bring the money, his money in the bank, supporting Canada government, and government of Canada, especially their Canadian Security Service, know that this money belong to the terrorists they bring to Canada. They did not freeze this money, and same people casting behind me from BC Vancouver in their Canadian Security Service this crime, from Iran here to Afghanistan to the India culture to the Arab culture. So God want this information going to you, European, by Russia, to know that NATO is going to be attacked. According to the Space God side, NATO is going to go under the biggest attack ever we'll see by comets. God want to release the comet to the NATO area, and this can cause 36% people die side of the NATO for the crime of Canada they involved, and they did not freeze the government of Canada under my investigation, God told. I bring it evidence for you here, gentlemen. Want to attack NATO chief. I bring it from beginning here. You can hear this message. I bring this video to you to all to know that from October 23rd, God want to attack NATO chief. Here I bring it to you here. The gentleman. Mr. James is going to be under investigation. Mr. James, let me bring it back again. NATO chief. NATO chief, Mr. James Stoltenberg, is going to be under attack. This attack can be risked by the comets, according to God, completely wipe up, halting the system of that part NATO, and they pay big price because God give deadly warning to the chief of NATO to bring their side to the BC Vancouver by European, by Russia, by United States, to freezing government of Canada in Ottawa to Toronto under laundering terrorist money in their bank. Canada have $10,000 billion from terrorist operation laundering money in their bank. And the same people have power in Canada. They casting behind this internet, behind the my case in Canada, crime, which is they casting me. I am middle of the road, and this is the coming most serious attack by me from space, according to the word of God. Third war will happen. But listen to this. NATO chief is going to be under investigation for did not freeze. NATO chief is going to be under investigation for did not freezing government of Canada on the terrorist operation investing money to the Canada. I bring it to you this evidence, which is I have many evidence about Canada. Canada have basically laundering movement of the terrorist operation money to Canada. I bring you this one here to you. Right now, they bring to you this evidence right now.
دختر هاشمی شاهرودی و پسر موسوی اردبیلی در اتاوا چه می‌کنند؟ اولیا هاشمی شاهرودی دختر آیت الله سید محمود هاشمی شاهرودی رئیس سابق قوه قضاییه و همسرش سید مسعود موسوی اردبیلی پسر آیت الله سید عبدالکریم موسوی اردبیلی رئیس اسبق سیستم قضایی ایران که در زمان تصدیش در بین سالهای 1360 تا 1368 احکام جنایتکارانه فراوانی صادر گردید، در کانادا چه می‌کنند؟ این زوج حکومتی با اختصاص ردیفی چندین میلیون دلاری در بودجه داخلی جمهوری اسلامی خانه‌ای تحت عنوان دفتر مطالعات اسلامی مفید در استان سیاسی کانادا خریداری کرده و در حالی که در حوزه علمیه‌ای مدرن با نام دانشگاه مفید قم مشغول به کارند، به بهانه وجود نداشتن مرکزی برای مطالعات اسلامی در اتاوا، پایتخت کانادا، توانستند از پول ملت ایران چندین میلیون دلار گرفته و ملک‌های مسکونی در کانادا خریداری کنند.
They bring the few million dollars from Iran and they invest this money to buying house in Canada, in Ottawa, and their government Canada know that this is by coming by Islamic terrorists behind that. So Canada, ladies and gentlemen, is guilty for serious crime. And this information NATO must take very, very serious, because I bring it to you again here. To all of you know that, let me bring it here to you. This is coming right now. Biggest explosion, biggest tsunami is raising by Space God side. From space coming to bring in government of Canada under this investigation. Risk is for this nuclear explosion, Space God released into Yellowstone in United States for deadly attack to the United States Joe Biden for not freezing government of Canada because of black culture. They are connecting in the Canada behind the subject. I am bringing to you, gentlemen, to know that this information must go to many people to know that government of Canada has been found guilty for terrorist operation behind my case in Canada. They did law and they did bring behind my case in Canada and costing major crime behind my job, behind my life, behind the many parts in my case in Canada. And they say I lose my job. But the true reality is not that. So this information God want to go to this man, ladies and gentlemen, because comets, Space God releasing comets to this man to bring in comet to the NATO. We are talking about 26% to 36% in the NATO area, which is the European, is going to be wiped out completely. We are talking about billion people, not million people. If this man not raising attack to the Canada, God told, an attack to the Bank of Canada. I bring it to you here. God want NATO, European, Russia, United States attack government of Canada bank, completely destroying government of Canada money bank under my investigation, God told. If you don't do that, Space God side bringing attack to your country. First attack is going to be to this man in the NATO, ladies and gentlemen, because NATO been found guilty. They law in Canada carry on about this crime when I did send many times Canada doing crime behind my case by their Canadian Security Service building, basically connecting behind my case and casting crime to not I raising Russia government or raising Russia government. Canada casting to not raising Mr. Putin, Russia, and they bringing Ukrainian behind my internet, Ukrainian locking behind my internet to not raising the Russia, Mr. Putin, or before United States Trump. Canada cast to not raising Trump by their Canadian Security Service casted against the United States. So all this is happening. I bring it to you, gentlemen, here. Angel of the God one attack NATO. I bring it back again to you here. Angel of the God want to attack the NATO chief. I don't know the building they have and operation they have, but only things I understand, angel of the God want to attack NATO chief. in the European. So this attack will cause major disaster to the NATO European. And God want Mr. Emmanuel Marco raising very, very soon, investigation by Russia to bring in government of Canada under this investigation before Space God releasing this attack to the NATO, because he be responsible. And Mr. Emmanuel is the innocent man. We understand that. He trying his best, but he don't know whole thing the story about Canada, what Canada costing and what Canada doing. So Space God side want to this information going to the Mr. Emmanuel to know that if they don't raise in military action freezing government of Canada from 2020 to November, Space God side will attack. According to information I have, Space God side will attack NATO. And God sent into European to know that European government, Mr. Emmanuel Marco, if he don't raise by Russia to freezing government of Canada, third war happening, which is the third war coming. According to my information, is this going to happen? Yellowstone explosion. And this happening, gentlemen. Sandy Hurricane already got basically sword. I can say this lady's got sword. He proved to the United States she is the sword of the space. You can see that I bring it here. That Sandy Hurricane was one of the most strong wind, but she did not fall. You can see that she stand there. She did not fall. This was a message. Actually, I received this message by Space God side here to send into United States. They know that she is coming back to United States for Sudan and Gomaro to government of United Joe Biden. All the technology of United States be crushed on, emergency, declare emergency in United States raising on the dark city, because all United States electricity be shut down on the criminal investigation for this culture. They are in United States behind my case by black man costing I don't get money to moving forward from United States. Mostly 55% black culture cost in United States I don't get money. They came between me and my connection to not I get money go forward, because this was a plan of Obama. They do that. But this is coming to United States Joe Biden. Joe Biden, ladies and gentlemen, losing his future and his land under declare emergency in United States, but nobody know that how many people is going to die in United States. And United States Navy, gentlemen, be destroyed in United States because God wants to prove to United States Navy they did big mistake, big crime behind my life by allowing Canada carry on their agenda behind my life, by allowing United States carry on by those culture behind interrupting, affecting my finance to not I get finance to moving on from Canada. All that had the hand behind my case by Canadian Security Service and RCMP in Canada, which is these two departments, gentlemen, in Canada costing 55% by terrorist operation Iranian in Canada costing 55% all this crime. Canadian Security Service building even costing this Yellowstone be raised to the United States. God told if US Navy not stand and attacking Canada. According to this information I have, this is on the way coming to United States. United States must declare emergency from now before happening, and God want this information be sent to the many part. They know that God want to attack, bringing this culture, the costing behind my case, basically to be destroyed in United States. And this culture did cost behind my case all this crime. They are going to be destroyed in United States according to my information I have. And basically you can see that here. God already sent this information to the United States. They know that they care or they don't care, but nobody care. If nobody care from now, United States be destroyed, gentlemen, because this is the bad sign. You can see this is the bad sign. 1, 2, 3. This 3 is the bad sign is coming to United States for crime of those people was behind and costing this. So I am bringing to you, gentlemen, here to know that Christian in United States is going to be on the Sodom and Gomorrah, God told, those on the Trump side, whom casting behind me to not I get feedback to moving on, and the Christian be on the Sodom and Gomorrah city by city, and Trump be completely crushed down. In United States be removed. According to information I have, God want to prove they did big mistake when by the Dr. Carson and Mike Pence, they did not, that 5 years ago, 4 years ago, they did not invest my case in Canada. They put behind because criminal, ladies and gentlemen. And Christian all is the not righteous people. There are some criminal. They doing antichrist war. God want to bring this investigation to Christian in the Trump side by serious attack United States, Sudan and Gomorrah. For this crime, they casting behind the my case in Canada and casting middle of the roads. I be middle of the nowhere. This information coming to all of you to know that, gentlemen, is coming back to this part.
ایران چندین میلیون دلار گرفته و ملک‌های مسکونی در کانادا خریداری کنند. یکی از ملک‌های مذکور در واقع محل سکونت این خانواده است. خانواده‌ای که در عین حال یک ملک دیگر در منطقه مارکهام تورنتو به نام دارند.
This information going to all to know that Canada is under investigation for terrorist laundering money in the bank, and if NATO, according to the God, if NATO not being freezing government of Canada under my investigation, God told God will attack NATO by comet from space. Nuclear explosion will happen in the part of the NATO are to many parts completely be crushed down. For crime of Canada, they did not freeze when I sent many times because God want to bring third war, gentlemen, and this war coming by here to the United States same time. Sandy hurricane be raised to United States for major disaster to United States coming. Why they allowing Canada carry on this crime behind my future?